With a heavy heart, I have a message from our CEO, Elon Stench. In the past year, the World Annihilation Incorporated only made $406 billion. That means we're gonna have to restructure. Half the workforce will be made redundant, and there will be cuts. From now on, you'll have only half a table to work on and half a chair to sit on. But think of this as an opportunity where you will discover your strengths. Dedication, what an important thing to focus on, to have it in your career.
Oh dear. I suppose I will have to look for another job. Have you noticed they never ask you interesting questions at your job interviews like, what's your favourite pop group? I'd be very good at answering that question. I'd say that One Direction is my favourite pop group. No, actually, it's Girls Aloud. Or, that other group.
Synergy, your talents, how efficient you are.
Is she still talking? Things weren't always like this. I remember the good old times. Isadora was my first love's name. It wasn't my best kiss, but in a way, that was a good thing. I didn't want the rest of my romantic life to be an anticlimax. Too bad my first true love was a zombie.
Get off me! You can't eat me! I'm not food!
While I dealt with her, I thought back to those happy times I had with Teddy, my teddy bear.
Get off!
Too bad Teddy was actually a real bear pretending to be a teddy bear. Look at that sleazebag, Brian Fahrenheit. You can bet he'll survive the restructure. His human skin leather jacket's made of bomb.
It should have been me delivering that speech. Me. I would have loved to have told them that they will be losing their jobs. But would those ungrateful bastards make me CEO? Hell no. I remember those happier times in my childhood, raised by a family of snakes. They taught me so many useful lessons. And then I ate them.
Are you serious? This is my first day. I had to complete 10 interviews and 10 challenges before I got this job.
Well done, Joel. You've almost won the marathon, and you've almost got the position. Just one more challenge. Here's your gear.
While I battled the nasty mountain, I thought back to those happy times when I was an actor in the 1960s, working in Italy on a spaghetti western. Then I did a paella western in Spain and a chicken korma western in India.
But you promised! You promised me that this year I would no longer be a receptionist. I thought I was going to become a vision specialist, not an unemployedist. Wasn't always so frustrated. I remember those happy days when I was a psychiatrist, escapologist in the 1920s. Ladies and gentlemen, right before your very eyes, I will psychoanalyze a volunteer from the audience whilst escaping from these chains. Your problem is that you want to marry your mother.
Ah, wow, that's right!
But I was betrayed by my glamorous assistant. Normally I hid the keys to the padlocks in my hair, but Brian switched them with an Alicia Keys CD. Then all I could hear was the funeral march and the 7:42 train to Cheltenham. Brian took over my act and started a chain of very successful bondage clubs.
When will she shut the fuck up? Hey Jake, can you get me some crack? I don't know how much more of this I can take. Yeah, like the good old days.
That's more like it. When I was a private detective in the 1940s, being your own boss and meeting lots of femme fatales.
Oh my god.
Hey, what do you think you're doing?
I thought you knew I'm a polyamorous private detective. Well,
Why are you doing that, Will?
I'm just nervous. It's not crabs or anything.
You bastard! Let's zoom in, girls.
Shit! It's a good thing I didn't mention my syphilis.
No one's listening. I've only been talking for a few hours, and I said the word synergy several times. When was I appreciated? I was Robin Hood? How did I change so much? I used to rob from the rich to give to the poor. Now I do the opposite. Friar talk. Have you finished your financial report? We urgently need some good news.
You better sit down. Our mission statement is to rob from the rich and give to the poor. But for us to survive as an organization, we now need to rob from the poor and give to ourselves.
That sounds horrible. What will be the point of our organization then?
Well, it turns out the rich are pretty hard to rob. They have lots of security. But if we start robbing from the poor instead of the rich, the Sheriff of Nottingham and Prince John said that they would invest in our organization.
Did they? Well, I suppose if we rob from the poor instead of the rich, we will still be providing a very useful service.
Sure, very useful.
While Friar Tuck advised me, I thought back to those happy times when I was a Roman estate agent in ancient Egypt, trying to sell pyramids. The only problem was they hadn't been built yet.
Where's the pyramid?
Actually, you're standing on the foundations of the pyramid. Look, they're very good foundations. If you look at this papyrus, you can see what the pyramid will look like when it's built.
My husband is super old. How do you know the pyramid will be built by the time he kicks the bucket?
Yes, what assurances do we have? I'm not that old.
If you die before your pyramid is built, you're gonna get 50% discount on your next one.
How many pyramids are you planning to build?
We currently have an order for 20,000 pyramids.
How are you going to build 20,000 pyramids? How many slaves have you got?
5.
I hope your pyramids are ethically built.
Of course, our slaves' welfare is of paramount importance to us. The RSPCA monitor us constantly.
So let me get this straight. After we give you all of our money, hardly any of the pyramids are going to get built, are they?
Yes, they are.
They're not, though, are they?
Actually, probably not.
Wait a minute. What if I create a pyramid scheme where only the people at the top of the pyramid do well and everybody else gets screwed?
That sounds fantastic. Can I invest in your scheme?
Oh, all right.
Is this life full of corporate bullshit? There must have been a better time. My abacus has crashed again. Twiggler? So, thank you for attending the Last Supper of this financial year. Unfortunately, I have some rather unpleasant news to bring. We unfortunately cannot afford to have so many disciples. We're going to have a restructure. Half of you will have to be made redundant. I'm going to have to re-interview all of you for your positions. So, Judas, what will you bring to the table?
The 3 L's. Loyalty, loyalty, loyalty.
Really?
Why are you sat with us? You don't work here.
Let me explain. In order to generate more publicity for our organization, I have invited broadcast journalist Charlie Snoop to film a reality series about our restructure. Please welcome him.
Thank you. Just to explain, with my show, the audience will decide which one of you will be made redundant. You don't have to be good at your job to keep your job. You just have to be interesting. So, Henry, how does it feel you might lose your job?
With respect, you throbbing bellend, how do you think I feel?
So, who will be the first to lose their job? Will it be lazy, junkie sex addict Will Power? Or will it be the useless dreamer, Henry McCloud? Or will it be the frustrated, embittered receptionist, Yasamin, Crestfallen? Find out next week on my show, where I will reveal it all. Thank you.
So, when was I happy? When I was a caveman? Or when I was an amoeba?